How did your parents motivate you into sports?
Well, my parents were, I wasn't just a swimmer and water polo player. I mean, I played every sport that you could imagine. I was, and I still am a sports junkie. I just love baseball, soccer, or football, basketball. I did everything as a kid, and it was something that was always encouraged from my parents. They didn't push me to do any of the things. It was just encouraged, and they were a large part of the process. I mean, they would come to every game. They would be even at practices. They always viewed it as a great opportunity to meet people, to learn about yourself, to be able to work in a team setting, which is, so valuable, I think, for all of us as we grow up. And just again, very, very supportive. The other two people that were really the keys for me in getting involved in sport, and particularly swimming and water polo, were my two older brothers. When you're the youngest of three boys, you really just, I idolized my two older brothers, and I just wanted to do everything that they did.
How parents can support this journey to become a high-performance athlete?
I've seen it all with parents, and I've seen parents who are not involved at all. I've seen parents who are overly involved, and I've seen parents who are extremely hard on their athlete, and I've seen parents who let them do whatever. Balance is always the key, and kind of finding the middle ground, I think, in life in general. And as a parent, it's just providing them support along the way. And they need to, if they're going to be successful at something, they need to enjoy it.
What type of father you are you have two kids, right?
Regarding sport, I'm very hands off. I get so much joy watching my kids play sport. And so I'm just kind of smiling the whole time, even when they're struggling, because I just see how fun it is. And I feel the same way as a coach. It's my job isn't to always tell them where to go and how to play. My job is to teach them how to play. And sometimes that means being hands off and letting them learn on their own, and letting them fail even at times and make mistakes, because again, that's a great opportunity to learn.
I'm studying the science of happiness. It's a certification from a professor in Harvard, it's Tal Ben-Shahar. And he talks a lot, the number one predictor of happiness is the relationship.
Getting to build relationships takes a great awareness of yourself. It takes an awareness and to have empathy for the people that you work with. If we just strictly worked on the tactics and the technical aspects and didn't give a hoot about all the other stuff, the relationships or the psychology involved, we would be nowhere near the team that we've become. Sometimes the best way for a team to connect and to grow closer is to not give them a choice. And the way we can do that as coaches sometimes is just creating adversity for them, in which they literally cannot get through something unless they rely on one another. They might not think they're going to make it through it, but at the end of the day, when they do make it through it, they look around and they see all the other people that got through it with them. And then there's just a natural connection, like this feeling like we did it, we all did it. And that's an incredibly powerful bonding moment for a group of individuals. Building teams is about building relationships.
Second thing is very important is the emotional aspect, to give you permission to being human.
Yeah.
And then he talks a lot about the importance of failing. Is it learn to fail or fail to learn? How do you help your team to deal with frustrations?
Adversity always appears. So many people want confidence and they want the coach to give them confidence. But in my mind, confidence, true confidence, comes from getting through that adversity in those challenging times. It's easy to be a winner. It's more difficult when things are challenging. And I think we have the mindset that, and I remind the team all the time, that we're defined by more so by how we handle things when they don't go our way. Anytime we're faced with a challenge, we have to remind ourselves of that. And that's my responsibility as the head coach, is to remind them, hey, I know this is difficult, but we're going to learn a lot about ourselves through this process. And this is an opportunity to grow and to be better.
Now, I was going to ask you, how do you deal with conflicts? That it's part of the every team.
I mean, it all starts with just communication and just being really open and honest with communication and also just accepting conflict. Conflict is going to happen, and it's that conflict is in part because there's a diversity in thought. When we think about diversity, we think about maybe the color of someone's skin, or their background, but diversity comes in other forms as well. And the diversity of thought that we can have on this team is actually extremely powerful, because it gives us an opportunity to learn outside of the little box that we live in, and learn about how other people feel and how other people view something. So again, these are opportunities for us to kind of grow and to become better as individuals, and then collectively as a group.
But when you know your strengths are the ones that take you to excellency, to top performance. It's important that you know your weaknesses or your potential limiters, to work on them, but to leverage your strengths. How do you work these with players?
Every time you point out something that may be a limiter or a challenge, it's very easy for them to look at it as a negative. And what we try to do is just flip the mindset a little bit, and that it's not a negative. In fact, it's actually this incredible opportunity to grow. And that mindset is really the key. And some people, in psychology refer it as to the growth mindset, right? When we watch video of all the mistakes we make, there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it as, oh my gosh, we're horrible, look at all the mistakes we made. Or you can look at it as, wow, look how great we can be. Look at all the mistakes that we get a chance to actually work on to become better. This process is about learning so many life lessons and learning about yourself, and again, what your strengths and what maybe your challenges are, and improving on those challenges. And if you can't grasp that through the process, then even if you win a medal, it's at the end of the day, it's actually a very unsatisfying feeling.
Do you have rules to use the cell phones to bring this mindfulness on the reality, on the moment?
It's a huge challenge. In some ways, I've given up with the phones and the social media. We've taken their phones away, and we'll try to, for it may be just 24 hours. We did a retreat in which we didn't have access for 10 days, but it's very difficult to control, and at the same time, I think my job is to try to educate. My job isn't to tell them what to do and what not to do and restrict them. It's to hopefully educate them to be able to make the right decision.
What type of advice you would give to a young athlete to have a dream to be part of your team one day, to be an Olympic player and a high performance athlete?
If you want to achieve something great, it's never going to be one thing. It's going to be a bunch of small things done very, very well over a long period of time. Really immersing yourself in the details and loving the small, tiny things that make the big things happen. And the only way, again, you're going to make those, really enjoy those small things and those moments, or as if you enjoy the process and you enjoy the people in which you're going through the journey you're with. It's difficult to have joy all the time, and joy may look a little different though too. I mean, I think sometimes we think of joy and we just think of laughing and giggling, and it doesn't always have to look like that. There's joy in great focus and in great concentration. The feeling of being so passionately involved in something is incredibly joyful. Hey, when we were playing in the Olympic final in Rio, and we're playing really well, and we're up 10-5. Maybe no one's smiling, but you think we're not having fun? Like, yeah. we're having fun. I mean, because we're in sync and we're playing well and we're really focused, and you could feel the energy around and this determination, and that's joy as well. So I guess my advice would be to immerse yourself in two things: in learning about yourself, and then immerse yourself into the relationships in which that you can build with the people around you through the process. And then from there, you'll enjoy the process more. You'll love the details, and then next thing you know, you could be wearing a gold medal around your neck.